I'm not gonna lie, I had no intention of making a video on Samurai Warriors 5. I've basically had a middling opinion of the game's reveal, really. But I wasn't expecting much with the character redesigns and seeing most of them carry generic ass weapons like spears and swords. But after the gameplay livestream the other day, a bombshell was dropped on the game, and it was revealed that there will only be 15 different movesets in the game, with the classic weapon swap feature from the last 3 Dynasty games will be appearing. Although from watching the gameplay livestream it looks like it will be in the same vein as, Dynasty Warriors 9, with being able to pick only one weapon and use that for the whole stage without being able to swap to another weapon on hand. What has been said about this feature is, much like Dynasty Warriors 9, equipping a character's weapon will change the attacks based on who's using it. That's to say, for example, using a bow with No, which is her signature weapon now, pretty depressing, will give her some unique attacks, while say if you use the bow with Toshi-ie, it'll have a generic bow moveset. To me it makes very little sense to do something like this because they could use the effort that they've spent making those generic attacks to actually make a unique moveset and not have this system in the game. Seems very counterproductive. At the end of the day, the combat is the only thing that these games have to offer. At least with, and I cannot believe I have to say this, with Dynasty Warriors 9 it had the exploration, which was something else to do. It wasn't very good admittedly, but it was there. Here in this one, it's the same story with the same protagonist, which we already know what happens to. Nobody's literally out there saying, "Oh, I wonder if Mitsuhide betrays Nobunaga at Honnouji." What a fucking, absolute non-plot twist that is. And now the characters we're used to, which I might add, was never a complaint or an issue with the series, get radical makeovers. But they keep the same faces and voices. It's very Dynasty Warriors 6-esque there. And their weapons are replaced with the least imaginative shit I've seen in a Warriors game for quite some time. The uniqueness of movesets is something that's made games like Sengoku Basara better, and even an extent Senran Kagura and Fate Stellar Link more enjoyable. The characters have a defined playstyle, which make each character vastly different from each other. For some of them you even get a feel of what the character's like as a person through the moveset. A good example of this is Nagamasa in Sengoku Basara, where all of his moves finish with an over-exaggerated superhero pose. With cloned movesets, which we are getting now in this game for some unknown fucking reason, well, mainly because of Koei laziness, you cannot get something like this because of the similarity with other characters, some of which Koei pair with the polar opposites. For example, Kanbei Kuroda now shares a moveset with Oichi, using some sort of paper talisman thingies, or you might as well use a fucking origami crane to defeat enemies at this point. It matters very little in the end. Mr. Doom and Gloom paired with a young girl, mostly opposites in appearance and personality. I genuinely cannot comprehend why Koei is doing this, because their tagline since this game's reveal a couple of months ago, or last month even, has been a revamp for the series. Well, actually I do sort of comprehend. It's because there's a season pass announced already with new weapon sets. I'm not exactly sure what that means. New weapon skins or new actual weapons, because it says in each set contains 3 weapons. It also has more horses, stages and music. I mean, fucking really? The game's not out for another 3 months and this catastrophe fuck is revealed. It's beggars belief. I don't understand how removing unique weapons and replacing them with generic ones and making returning characters clones is a good change. People are already somewhat divided over certain characters not being in the game. People are going to be in for a bombshell when it's revealed that Masamune won't be in the game because A, he's too far away, and even Yukimura, the poster boy of the series, won't be in the game because he's is he either alive? He's a small child at the time, isn't he? I mean, that's taking a risk, and most people already aren't happy. For me, most of the characters I like won't even be in the game at all. I doubt that Hojo will get a look in because it's not a historical conflict. And they've already cut the cast in, over half of the characters we're used to. Most of it is just marketing though, this whole revamp thing anyway. It gets people on board if they missed out on the last game, which if you're a Nintendo and Xbox user, you didn't actually have a choice but to miss out on them. And the announcement of clones won't put most people off because A, Koei won't say it outright because they'd look like fucking clowns. and B, most people won't be bothered because it's a new Warriors game, which is something I've seen coming from this fan base for years. It doesn't matter how bad the game is as long as it's a new game. Just look at all the videos that came out the week of this game's reveal, despite there only being a nano piss of information on it. It was the same with Dynasty Warriors 9 when that was revealed. It's not an attitude or a mindset I can ever understand. It's like, I don't care if there's clones in the series where the only thing to do is use said movesets to progress through the stages in the story that we already know the outcome of. It's absolutely fucking ridiculous. The amount of people I see that are hyping up a game they've seen basically nothing for, and they've changed all their profile pictures to characters from this game. It's like, you might not even like them. That's what I don't get. It's just utterly ridiculous. Like, usually when somebody changes their profile picture on like Twitter or, you know, Facebook or something, it's like because it's a character they resonate with, like as a actual person. It's just honestly, you're giving them free marketing when they don't deserve any of it. Utterly bizarre. I think for me it's time to move on. It's a franchise that's simply not for me anymore, because these changes, or more specifically, they aren't something that's going to affect new fans or people that haven't played many of the older titles or had to live through this trash the first time, but you know, with Dynasty Warriors 6. I generally cannot trust Koei. It's like they get a free pass to be lazy from everyone because they work on a collab title, which are usually always good, you know, a few hit and misses there. And it's because those are made with another company that's involved with it. And then people must think, you know, Koei's other games must be good. It's something that Koei are constantly doing when they're able to, corner cutting, reusing assets, surely getting their money's worth from some poor employees' one hard day of work, or getting rid of things like dubs, which, according to the community managers, the Western community managers that is, removing them has had no effect on sales, which I'm not sure how they'd know that, because A, it would require asking everyone that didn't buy or used to be a fan why they didn't buy the current games. B, the first week of sales in Japan for the Dynasty games, which is the only available info, shows that sales are going down regardless. Dynasty Warriors 9 selling just over half of what Dynasty Warriors 8 did. Dynasty Warriors 8 being the point people were mostly burnt out on this series for being the same fucking game. And C, most of the time it's not clearly stated that the games aren't dubbed and only subbed. I remember when, before Dynasty Warriors 8 Empires came out, somebody actually asked Koei if there would be dubs in the game, and Koei said yes, which obviously never happened in the end. But my point here is that it took someone to ask them if there were going to be dubs for them to reveal that information. And even though that was a lie, although I'm not actually taking a dig on the community managers, I mean, I could have been one of them. In 2009 there was actually a job opening in Tunbridge Wells to like be part of the Koei team, and I was actually going to send my CV to them. And I actually went up to Tunbridge Wells and looked at a few places to like move into. That was like just in case I did get it. And in the end, I never actually sent my CV. But I removed a lot of friends from the Koei community, so I could take that because they were being, you know, very toxic. And I thought I could make a difference. And yeah, obviously that never happened. So I'm kind of glad I didn't go for that. It's there's a bit of trivia for you that I never revealed. And if you're wondering why I stopped being friends with you, that is why. Because I could be in that seat taking all the flack. So, you know, fair play to them. Although they do say some ridiculous stuff like the fans on Facebook are dumber than the ones on Twitter, before shortly deleting that. But regardless, at the end of the day, do clones mean Samurai Warriors 5 will be a bad game? No, but it's the straw that broke the camel's back for me. It's a revamp without the effort put in to make the game a step above what came before it. Just looking at games like Persona Scramble, which Koei had a hand in making, Atlas actually waited a year to release the Western version because they were going to wait for the dubs. It's almost like they care about putting quality into the game, as well as some of the effort they put into it as well. What I mean by that is the main character Joker has 4 of his attacks that summon the personas, each with unique attacks. But he has the ability to change persona. There's a total of 67 personas he can equip. That's a lot of animations for just one character. That's not, although it's not actually fair to say all 4 times that you use a persona the attacks are any different, but regardless, it's the kind of effort they went to make a good game and have such variety just in that one character. And that's it. It's sad to leave these games behind, and what I'm doing might even increase their sales because I won't be reviewing their games and calling them average. An utterly thankless job, which thankfully I will never have to do again or want to do again. But I cannot play these games anymore. I would have thought a revamp would be the thing to change their attitudes to their games and draining their fan base for all the money they have, with overpriced DLC and half-finished games, which they'll inevitably follow up with an expansion. I cannot think of another series or company which, when a sequel comes out, they remove features and actively go out of their way to make the games worse in some regard. A former friend and overall waste of skin once said about me that I was a clown for still buying the games, playing them, and then not being happy with anything, which I can kind of see what they mean, but then they also complained about how Warriors Origin 4 was the worst Warriors game ever, was also bragging about how much ad revenue they got from videos on it, and then used that money to buy a Steam version of the game, which his PC couldn't even run. You fucking mongoloid. Now I think I'll use my time and energy in a more productive way, not on videos about these games, and if that disappoints you, I'm sorry, but I cannot subject myself to the digital misery that are modern Warriors titles. And you know, that is my one regret. Not playing these games, I've enjoyed playing them over the past couple of years, but making videos to get people to, you know, subscribe to this channel and then ultimately disappointing you because I will no longer play them. So sorry about that, and that is it. I might private or unlist some of the videos so you'll still be able to watch them, but they will not be able to be searched on this channel. Not that me not playing these games is going to mean anything. I mean, this channel's as dead as, you know, the Warriors franchise has chance of, you know, getting a decent review score. So yeah, sorry about that. It's genuinely quite sad leaving this behind, but it's got to be done.